and the History Fellow channel. In this video we're looking at the Battle of the Crater, Petersburg. Unwilling to launch any further frontal assaults, Grant decided to surprise Lee by bypassing the prize of the Confederate capital of Richmond and instead marched toward Petersburg to the south. If the city were captured, then Lee's position would be untenable. The Southern general now raced to beat Grant to occupy it. The Army of the Northern Virginia, now safe behind Petersburg trench system, easily threw back to the Union assaults, and so Grant ordered his army to dig in and settle down for a siege. With overwhelming numbers of men and supplies, he knew it would only be a matter of time that Lee's weakened army could hold out for, and its supplies were dwindling and desertions were increasing. For a month, men of the 48th Pennsylvania Infantry in Major General Ambrose E. Burnside's 9th Corps had been digging a long mine shaft towards a sector of the Confederate defenses guarded by the Confederate 1st Corps. They had been miners in civilian life, and their commanding officer had petitioned Burnside with an audacious plan. They would mine the secret shaft, pack it with high explosives, detonate it, destroy the enemy's defenses, and in the chaos, rush through a division of Union troops to expand the hole and capture the city. Burnside discussed the plan with Meade and Grant, who, though bemused by the idea, were keen to improve the army's morale, and so consented to it. Burnside ensured the troops chosen to go in first were fully trained, so successful assault, capture, and then exploit the intended breach in the Confederate lines. A division of United States Colored Troops, the USCT, commanded by Brigadier General Edward Ferrero, would lead the assault and had been briefed as to the plan. 2 brigades would circle round their respective flanks of the explosion's crater, with 1 regiment exploiting the gap in the Confederate defences, while the remainder rushed through to secure strategic positions and hold for reinforcements from the second wave of white troops who might push on to Petersburg itself. The 500-foot-long mine shaft was completed and packed with over 7,700 pounds of explosive, sitting only 20 feet below the Confederate positions. But before the operation commenced, Meade, concerned that the Union command should not be seen to be needlessly wasting the lives of its black troops, ordered Burnside to switch the USCT and replace them with unprepared division of white troops from the 9th Corps. On July the 30th, at 4:40 a.m., the explosion blew a crater in the Confederate defences, 170 feet long, 115 feet wide, and 30 feet deep, initially killing 278 defenders of the 18th and 22nd South Carolina. Delays then occurred as Union attackers failed to adhere to Burnside's plan, with unit after unit charging into and around the crater. Hundreds of men wasted valuable time milling around its bowl, believing that the safest place to avoid enemy counterfire. The ensuing chaos was compounded by their own divisional commander, Brigadier General James H. Ledlie, being absent, settling instead to get drunk behind the lines with the USCT's divisional commander, Ferrero. The Confederate position was saved by the quick thinking of the sector commander, Brigadier General William Mahoney, who, within 15 minutes of the explosion, had gathered enough men to mount a ferocious counterattack on the Union troops below. It soon developed into a one-sided turkey shoot, as the Southerners poured a murderous rifle and artillery fire into the trapped masses below. Observing the growing disaster, Burnside decided to double down on his losses and sent Ferrero's USCT division forward, who, taking an increased enemy flanking fire, rushed into the crater themselves to seek cover, only enhancing the target for the Confederate troops above. The chaos and slaughter increased, even when some Union troops climbed out and attempted to assault the Confederate positions, only to be forced back after several hours of fierce hand-to-hand combat. By the end of the day, 9th Corps losses were staggering: 3,798 men killed, wounded or captured, the bulk of which came from the USCT division. The siege would go on for another 8 months, as Grant refused further frontal assaults. Burnside, Ledlie and Ferrero would be censored at a later board of inquiry, with Burnside's career ruined. Of the operation, Grant himself would report to Washington: "It was the saddest affair I have witnessed in this war." Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you found it helpful or informative, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up or share or recommend it between family and friends. I shall see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching and listening.